Imani!
Imani. Okay, we're live.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. If you can, whoever's on, if you're on YouTube, if you're on Facebook, if you can give me a thumbs up or somewhere, put in the chat, let me know you're here and you can hear us fine. Before we get started, thanks for tuning in.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in. For those who do not know, you are tuning into Momversations. Welcome. Hello.
Woohoo!
A little, just a sound check from somebody who's on, watching on Facebook Live or oh, there we go. Hi there. I hear you fine. Thank you, Marge. Marge is there.
Oh, my mom, Marg. I love it. Oh, good.
Like my mom, the first one in.
Yes.
So
of course. I love it.
Like, you've already done this before. I get it. Okay, well, Marge says we're on, so we'll get started.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. As I said before, this is Momversations. If this is your first time tuning in, let me tell you a little bit about what you're in for. So Momversations, first of all, hello, my name is Aretha Scruggs. I am the host, and Momversations is a show where we hear real stories of incredible moms making waves in our world, from entertainers to entrepreneurs and others. Join the Momversation to learn how to live and thrive in motherhood and purpose. So we are talking today with my friend, my colleague, I'll tell a story why she means so much to me in my own motherhood journey. But welcome, please, to Momversation, everyone. This is Charissa Nielsen.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Roundabout claps. Hello.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! Everybody, for those who don't know, I'm sure as we've heard, Marge, her mom is already tuning in, so she knows who Charissa is. But for those who do not know who Charissa is, you heard a little bit about the bio when I put the little flyer out, but a little bit more about Charissa. Charissa is a Los Angeles-based session singer, vocal contractor, and composer. She is a versatile singer on stage, studio, and set. She is, you can see some of her projects are on TV, film, and been featured on albums. She sang on La La Land, Star Wars, Sing, The Jungle Book, and The Planet of the Apes. She's been featured in national campaigns for Nationwide Insurance, for commercials, for Tide, Infinity, Burger King, UPS, and what I got the chance to really work with her on, she appeared in The Real O'Neills, where she was a vocal contractor. And she's been in live shows for Neil Young, Leonard Cohen, Smashing Pumpkins, Michael Bublé. She's got an amazing bio and experiences that she's been a part of. And on top of that, she is a wife and a mother to, how old is Cora?
She's 8.
To an 8-year-old Cora. Yeah. And she's also, she parlays sometimes as a music therapist.
Yes.
So she wears many hats, this wonderful woman. So I just wanted to give her a platform, give her a space to really tell her stories and see what kind of things we can learn from her story. So please, again, give it up for Charissa Nielsen.
Thank you. Thank you, Aretha. It's so cool that you're doing this, and us women, we do need a platform, and it's an honor to be here with you, and so fun, like, to put a little makeup on during quarantine. So yeah, I'm like, okay, I just haven't worn makeup in a while, so it's great to be here. Thank you.
Yay. I'm going to start it off with telling this story of Charissa. Charissa was at the very start of my motherhood, my mother journey. I had just had Imani, and like I said, we got a chance. I think we worked before on projects, but that was kind of where it started, was The Real O'Neills.
Yeah.
Got hired to, she was a vocal contractor. We got hired to do the studio session, and the studio work behind the scenes, but then they chose different people from the studio session to actually be on camera. She was like, I chose you. I was like, oh. And I had just literally had Imani. I don't even know if she was a month old yet. And so my mom was watching her. And this was the first time I was on set, and I'm a brand new breastfeeding mom. Didn't know. I mean, when you're a first time mom, you really, I don't know nothing. So, but Charissa, she not only cared for me at all of our rehearsals, but on set, ladies and gentlemen, this is what you need. You need a Charissa Nielsen. I didn't even know to ask for this. She went right up to the person running. I don't know who he was, the director, somebody running the set, and was like, no, she's a new mom. She needs a plate. She needs to pump every 2 hours, or however I didn't know. She was like, she needs to pump every 2 hours, and she needs her own space. She needs her own room so she can plug in her pump. We need this. And in a demanding voice, I was like, oh my God. I wouldn't even tell you. I probably would have been sitting up there just big and not knowing what to do, because I wouldn't even known to even ask for that. So I am totally this is what it is to be a sisterhood of moms, to stand up for other moms, because especially first time moms, we don't know what the hell we do. We just I don't know, this baby.
Yeah.
I haven't slept. I don't know what's happening.
Right.
But I just wanted to share that personal story. You have been, and that's kind of what it set up. Now I know to ask. I do it now on my next thing. I need a pump. I need a pump. And just set it up. So thank you, Charissa. So we're just gonna jump. Oh, were you gonna say something? Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, hey, I you remember that because that's your personal story, and that was years ago. So how old is Imani now?
You just turned 4, so that was 4.
It was 4 years ago. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I've learned along the years, people don't know what they don't know, and you have to educate them. And, especially now, we're in such an awesome time of people are learning new things about race, about the singing world, about lots of different things. And if you don't speak up, you're just going to get walked over. So I learned at a young age from my mom to be confident and to ask for what you need and to speak up. And I definitely, I don't know who's even watching right now, but anyone who knows me will be like, oh yeah, Charissa definitely speaks up.
I love it. I love it. And we need some Charissas. I feel like I speak up, but there's definitely moments where you're like, oh, I'm a newbie in this. What's happening? What? You're just
yeah, especially on set. There's so many moving parts and a lot of different, the director, the second AD, I don't even know all the terms anymore, but yeah, it's a lot. So I wanted to make sure you felt comfortable. And, one of the worst feelings that I remember as a mom breastfeeding, it's if you're ready to expel your breast milk, you need to.
You have to, dude. Yes, especially with a brand new baby.
So that was awesome. We kind of, with that job hired me, and then I got to hire the commercial choir, and that was such an awesome beginner's luck almost. It was just a great, timing of God, in my belief. That he gave us this amazing opportunity to do, and it was really fun.
It was really fun. It was just fun, and we had a whole watch party afterwards. So we got to laugh at ourselves on television. So that was fun. That was fun.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, but let's jump in. Tell the audience. Tell us a little bit about your story. Where did you start? Where are you from? Where did you get started in music? Tell us, when did you first fall in love with music?
Okay. Well, I'm from Chicago area, a suburb, a little town called Geneva, Illinois. And it's a small Swedish town, and a really great place to grow up. I definitely got cultured once I moved to Los Angeles. And whenever I leave Los Angeles, now I'm, and I don't see all the beautiful colors of skin that are available. I miss it. So I'm so glad to live in Los Angeles, but being raised in Geneva, Illinois was very special. And I still have a lot of friends from there. So I'm from there, and I grew up singing in an Episcopalian church there called St. Mark's. And then from there, went to singing at a very contemporary church called Christ Community Church. And that was in St. Charles, Illinois. So these are like the western suburbs of Chicago. It's an hour drive. I think it's like 39 miles straight west before the cornfields. Yes. And just, sang in church. My family, I have one older brother. We're about 18 months apart, and he lives in Louisville, Kentucky, and he works for Tyson Chicken, and he's a chaplain. He prays for the staff at Tyson Chicken.
Wow.
And before that, he was a missionary. And before that, he was a youth pastor. My own dad is a retired minister and now performs wedding ceremonies for people. And he is quite famous in Chicago. He's the Rent-A-Rev, like Reverend.com.
Rent-A-Rev. People in Chicago, Rent-A-Rev.
Rent-A-Rev. So, oftentimes if there is a Christian person and a Jewish person getting married, they'll need the rabbi present and the Christian minister present. So my dad will officiate weddings like that, which are very common now.
Yeah. I can imagine. Wow.
So that's what he does. And my mom is an abstract artist and inventor. And so I have an awesome family. I'm very, very blessed to come from such strong foundation. That's a big thing that just is so important for being a mom. If you're lucky enough, blessed enough to come from good stock, then it's going to be a lot easier for you. To have someone that was a good mom, and not to say that you can't work through trauma if that's, what's standing in the way of you and anything in your life really, but it just really helps if you come from a good example. And I definitely had that in my life with my own family. So and I fell in love with music in really early on, just singing in lots of church choirs. And then in 5th grade, I kind of got noticed in choir. They said, "Oh, Charissa has, something unique about her voice," and they recommended voice lessons. So I started to notice, like, okay, maybe singing is something I could do later on in life. And of course, your dreams start. And I remember being at Amy Grant concerts and just being like, this is what I want.
Yes.
And so that kind of became my focus, and wanted to become a famous Christian singer, which now almost makes me laugh, not in a bad way to say that now, but it was not a straight path at all.
Yeah.
So many things, good and bad, happened that completely changed my path off of that.
Wow. So you wanted to be the next Amy Grant.
I did.
That was the dream. I love it.
I'm sure millions and millions of people are like, me too.
Right. I want to be the next Yolanda Adams, so I get it.
Yes.
I get it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. Well, did music bring you from Chicago here? Or did you?
Yeah. Well, actually what brought myself and my husband Dana out here was music therapy. I got, so as quick as I can, I went to school first in Nashville, Tennessee at Belmont University to do the Amy Grant thing. Okay. And then that happened to be the year where she had a sexual affair with Vince Gill.
Wow.
Yeah. And this is such a huge part of my story. And now I think they're still married to each other. But I was so upset, and it made me almost lose my faith. Wow. And it made me change the trajectory and my whole objective, of what I thought I wanted to be. So I gave up on the commercial singing degree I was doing at Belmont, and transferred down to Loyola University of New Orleans to do music therapy.
Wow.
So it was a really nerve-wracking time, but so yeah, I got a degree in music therapy and did that for many, many years out here in LA, and I still do it. I still have, between 1 and 10 clients per week.
Wow.
That are of varying populations, such as autism, brain damage, deaf, amputees, drug addiction, and I think that's about all of it. And being a music therapist is so helpful in the music industry.
So many questions, but music, I didn't even know music therapy was a thing probably until in the last 5 years. I didn't even know it was I didn't know anything really at all. I didn't even know it was a title. So
yeah,
it's crazy that you've been doing it even before you started really in the music industry. You were doing music therapy.
Yeah, I was. It's so I'm a licensed music therapist, and which just means you have to keep studying, and you have to either take the exam or submit continuing education units every 5 years.
Wow.
You have to submit 100 every 5 years. So I just keep up on it, and actually until just recently, I was working at 3 different drug and alcohol treatment facilities in Los Angeles, and over the quarantine, I just started to realize I can't do it anymore. I needed to take a break from it. The population with the drug addicts is so hard. It was draining me and taking everything out of me and leaving it, somewhat of a negative impact. And I already have so much stress at home as a mom that I don't need to add to it.
Yeah. I get it. What is that? What is that even? A quick question. Well, my sister is now interested. She said, how do you get into music therapy? But what does a day look like for a music therapist?
When you go through training, college, you have to do what are called practicums. And in the practicum, it helps you decide, okay, do I want to work with young kids, adolescents, elderly, or do I want to work in mental health? And then you decide the age. Or do I want to work in end of life care, hospice? Do I want to work in, there's so many different populations. Music is so powerful. And just a real quick definition of music therapy would be the use of music to bring about behavioral change. Wow. So my favorite population would be autism, and I definitely specialize in that. A lot of my autistic clients were mute, never had spoken before, ever. Wow. And I had this one girl named Mary, and she said her first word in music therapy group, ever. Wow. And she was 10.
Wow.
So with autism, it's a focus on social skills, anger management, eye contact, working in a group, sitting down in a chair. Not hitting, a lot of things like that. With the drug and alcohol treatment centers, music therapy looks like songwriting, and a lot of lyric analysis. So what's so beautiful is music does most of the work for you.
I can imagine. Wow.
It opens up pathways. It brings about subject matter to talk about. In drug addiction, and I worked in like a group home for abused and neglected boys, 80 of them, ages 6 to 18. And with those populations, I had like a boys choir, I did xylophone group, I had for my 6-year-olds, I did on Tuesday nights, I did Lullaby Lane. None of them had ever been sung to before. None of them knew Mary Had a Little Lamb. None of them knew anything. So sad. I've chosen all these like sad, hard things to do. but I don't know. I get really bored really easily. So I like the variety. I like that I'm a session singer and a music therapist and a mom and a wife. And I have an amazing network of friends in my neighborhood and at session singer friends and, you know, non-session singer friends as well. So yeah, I don't know if I even answered the question, but I'm just kind of like.
Yes. You've got a bunch of wows and wow. I mean, you have a bunch of wows in the comment section. I can't.
Oh.
See it, but people are, I mean, like maybe like them. People can let me know in the comment section. I really don't. I mean, I've heard of the title. Now I've heard of the title music therapy, but I've never even known.
It's a 4-year degree program, and it's a bachelor's of music therapy. You can do it at CSUN here in LA in Northridge. It's fantastic. So it kind of like went away for a few years. It wasn't as popular. And then everyone remembers when Gabby Giffords got shot in the head. And she lost her speech. Guess what made her speak again? Music therapy.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
so powerful. And it is. And the music therapist that was working with her, they did a lot of media coverage on it. So music therapy is back. Like it's really powerful. And I have a lot of friends, a lot of session singers that have reached out to me because there's no work in sight for us as session singers because singing is such a spreader.
Right.
So everyone's, you know, getting their studios at home put together and learning how to do that. It's a really hard learning curve. And I'm so lucky to be married to an engineer.
Yeah.
So yeah. But yeah, music therapy is a really powerful modality. It's an alternative therapy similar to dance therapy, art therapy.
Wow.
I also worked with pottery therapy.
Wow.
At the Sycamores where I used to work in Altadena. People don't know it, but there's group homes everywhere. And then there's sober houses everywhere. And so there's music therapy happening around you. You just don't know it.
Wow. Okay, we'll do this last question before we move on. My mom says, are there specific genres of music more effective in music therapy than others?
Music therapy is tailored. That's a really good question. Music therapy is tailored for each client or age group. So, you know, with my boys choir, I was using, I mean, this is back it was like a lot of like Black Eyed Peas stuff because this was this was a while. I've lived in LA for 20 years and this is going back 20 years. But it just depends on the age. And then if I were working in hospice, I would, depending on the age of the client, I would use music according to their age and what they like or don't like. You know, you can interview someone just with a really basic music therapy questionnaire. What kind of songs do you like, don't like? What bands do you like, don't like? That's how I started each of my sessions with the in the rehab centers. And that always, even just that, who are some of your favorite bands? It gets a conversation going and music does the work for me.
Wow.
So it's great.
That's awesome.
And I have one of my favorite clients, she's 23 now. She's like a TBI, a total brain injury client. She's hearing impaired. She is so amazing. She can't hear that much, but she has perfect pitch.
Wow.
So she senses the vibrations of music. And so working with her every week, I still am Zooming with her, is such a bright spot in my week. The best part about music therapy is that every day I'm reminded of how much I have.
Wow.
I have eyes.
Wow.
I have fingers. Wow. I've got legs. I've got blood running through my veins. I don't, you know, I wake up and it's like, I am so blessed, but I'm reminded of how much of a struggle that can happen, you know?
Wow.
So it's been a huge, awesome part of my life. And then having the knowledge of, you know, psychology and so much, I know a lot about behavior and why we do what we do and what makes us tick. And People are always like, "Are you analyzing me?" And I'm like,
Sure am. Sure am.
So, but it's just a gift, and the music industry is so tricky, and even more tricky as a woman because it is male dominated. But just knowing how to be sensitive to people and taking your time to speak and not being the loudest person in the room is really, really important.
Come on with these lessons, these little nuggets. Take that home, ladies and gentlemen. You don't have to be the loudest person in the room.
Because if you are, then you can't listen.
Yeah.
And listening is a really big part. Hey, Cora. Oh, if you're upset, go find Daddy, okay?
No.
Okay.
She's stupid.
Okay, Daddy's stupid? Okay. Well, go talk to Dad about that. I'm busy.
No.
Okay. Momversations.
Momversations. Perfect entrance. Well, now let's move on. Let's talk about, so tell us about your family. Well, you sort of talked about what kind of family you grew up in. What does it mean to be a mom to you?
I've been trying to think of how to answer that all day. And the only word I could come up with is a guide. Just a guide.
Good.
And it's okay. It's all right. A guide, and one thing I did cheat a little. I looked it up. I was like, what is the purpose of a mom? Because I had to look it up. I don't know. I do from A to Z.
Right.
We do it all.
All of it.
And women are so amazing. We can multitask.
Yes.
God gave us the gift of multitasking.
Yes.
And there are other people in the world that don't know how to do that. I'm not going to name names or sexes. But women, I've met some guys that can multitask, but it's very rare. Yeah. So I look at that as a huge gift that we can do 16 things at one time.
Yes.
Pretty damn well.
Yeah. Cross every eye.
Yeah.
Dot every eye.
Totally.
Yep. Wake up and do it the next day.
Yes. Yeah.
I love that word guide though. What does that look like for you, even as you're guiding Cora into this season? Like,
yeah, it's just kind of gently correcting behavior along the way. And I'm a self-help guru, so I'm constantly listening to podcasts. Yes. I just finished Glennon Doyle's amazing book called Untamed, which is all about unleashing the cheetah within as a woman.
Whoa.
And like how to not be caged.
Yes.
And just to let yourself out and to, that speak up and to, but wow, yeah, her book was amazing. It's like, number 4 on the Amazon list right now. And she's just really inspiring and also really funny. So it was a quick, I don't read, I can't do one thing. I do Audible. So I'm doing Audible. I'm cooking, I'm cleaning, I'm vacuuming, I'm picking up poop from the dog. I'm picking up, oh boy, I'm, wiping her nose. Right before I did this, my neighbor was like, oh, make sure you don't show your nipple because your nipple has a stain on it. And I'm just like, okay, whatever. I don't really care about anything anymore.
Thank you.
That's what motherhood has taught me. I don't really take anything that seriously anymore.
Yeah.
Because I don't have the time to. It's just like, whatever.
Is that how, that sort of goes, is that how you balance? All these many hats that you wear, what does that mean for you? Even that word balance, what does that mean?
That's been a real challenging thing for me. Balance is hard. I'm a people pleaser and I don't like confrontation.
Yeah.
So I do tend to, I'm just a giver. I'm a lover. I'm a helper. I'm a therapist. I'm a listener. And I have so many friends who are so supportive of me as well. But especially as a mom, just giving. And then I get so depleted. And then I say, okay, I need to balance. I need, but I especially right now in the coronavirus, I'm totally failing.
Yeah.
100%. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah. You have to be. Yeah.
You cannot control it. Once you become a caregiver of anything, even if an animal, a plant, a human, whoever it is, you have to give up the control. And if you don't, you will learn the lesson the hard way.
Yes.
Which also has happened to me. I mean, oh man, I certainly have learned how imperfect I am. Just from her. Cora will be like, kids say the darndest things. She'll be like, oh, your teeth are so yellow. Mom, you look really fat. I mean, it's just, they just say that, but it's also,
yeah. Okay.
It's also just like, okay, that's how you see me. It's good to have a perspective of how you're seen through someone else's eyes, And so I just try and gently guide her. And I try to be a good example. I'm really big on, no, you are not showing your belly. You are putting a long shirt on.
Right.
I'm really big with that. I've seen a lot of moms not be a great example in that regard. And to me, you are the number one person they want to be until they're about 12.
Until they hit 12. Like, get out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Shoot. That living by example. I'm reading that in my own self-help book. Raising strong-willed children. I'm like, yes.
Yes.
They're learning by example. It's like, ooh.
Yeah.
What's hard?
I know. They do reflect a lot of things back, and it's just like, oh yeah, I think I did say that, or oh. I've been swearing a lot, and now Cora's like, saying the S word, the F word a little bit, and I'm just like, nope, I'm an adult. I can say that.
Right.
And once you turn 18, you can say that. I'm sure it'll happen before that, but
Right.
So yeah, leading by example, just, gently. I mean, that great analogy of, I'm going to screw it up, but about the bird rate, like the fragility of a bird. A bird needs to have a cage, but not, there needs to be air, there needs to be food and water, and it does need to leave the cage. So just don't hold the bird too tightly. It's the same thing with being a parent. It's like just having a gentle, hold on them to guide them and lead by example. Yeah. Right. It's a lot. It's hard always being on and always having to say the right things, but also just learning how to apologize and say, you know what? I screwed up. I'm sorry. Mommy made a mistake. Yeah. And no one is perfect. There's so much good in that for them to see you mess up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's another good nugget. That's another good nugget. Feeling like, yes, adults make mistakes. Yes. If they can learn that, my mom makes mistakes. Yep. And it's okay. I'll probably make some too. If they can take that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So tell me, what do you think is your purpose? What is your why? What is your purpose? And how does that line up with your being a mother and or all the hats that you wear in your career? What's your why?
I'm not really sure. It's just, I always knew I wanted to be a mom. That's a question I've heard a lot of people talk about. Like, have you always wanted to be a mom? Yeah, I did. The answer would be yes. I always thought I would have more than one kid. And we had a real struggle just to have her. It took us 3 years 3 years of trying. And turns out, and I actually love talking about this because it's not a well-known infertility issue. And don't be scared, and whoever's listening, don't be scared, but I have a brain tumor that causes complete infertility still.
Wow.
Yeah.
I have never heard that.
Yeah. And
Wow.
it's actually 5% of child age bearing women have it and don't know.
What?
So I don't know how I got it. It's benign. It's not cancer. It's called pituitary microadenoma. And it's a little tiny eraser-sized tumor on my pituitary. Your pituitary is behind your nose in the middle of your brain.
Wow.
And it presses on my pituitary. Your pituitary is in charge of sex, hormones, periods, libido, everything. So I'm like really hormonally imbalanced all the time.
Wow.
So with this tumor on the pituitary, it presses on the pituitary, which makes the pituitary extract too much prolactin. Prolactin is what breastfeeding mothers produce to make milk come out of your nipples. So since I had, I can squeeze my nipples right now and milk would come out, and I haven't breastfed in 6 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's really weird. It can cause dwarfism or it can cause giantism. Sorry, that's terrible. But I don't know the word for that. And lots of things with growth and then complete infertility.
Wow.
So, and that's another thing about being a mom. You don't know if you can make a baby unless you have sex.
Right? No.
So it's just, you try with whatever form of birth control you're on to not get pregnant, and then
trying to have it.
You try, and you're like, why can't I? So if anyone wants to reach out to me privately, please do. I'm an open book, as you can tell. But yeah, it's a common diagnosis, and the only thing you need to do is get your prolactin level checked in your blood. And mine was like 70, and it should be 9.
Wow. So how did you? I mean, so how did you have a baby? But how did you first find out that you even had the tumor, and then did you then see doctors that walked you through even how to have Cora? Or
so we struggled, and typically your regular OBGYN will not allow you to see a fertility specialist until you've been trying for 1 year. So, which is so whatever.
Yeah.
But so I had been charting my periods for 6 years. So every morning, so I had 5 years. So I had 60 sheets of my morning waking temperature, my cervical fluid, like so much information about my bleeding. It was amazing.
Wow.
And I handed them, I got a list of names of like fertility doctors to go to, and I brought those with us to our first appointment. I was 30 years old at a fertility clinic. I was the youngest person there. They had just impregnated a 66-year-old woman with triplets.
No! Why do you want triplets at 66?
Only in LA. I don't know. So yeah, anyway, it was like shoulder to shoulder in this fertility clinic, and I gave her my information, and she was like, okay, you have luteal phase defect, which means you're dropping your egg, but then my period comes 4 days after that. I have like a really short cycle. So diagnosed with that, she said, I'm pretty sure you have pituitary microadenoma, but go and get an MRI to check it. So I had to go, and like, that was like pretty scary. And then sure enough, she called me the next day and was like, sounds like you're in the car. Are you driving? Please pull over. And I was like, okay. And she goes, you have a brain tumor. And I was like, okay. And then just swallowing that pill is weird,
Yeah. Oh, I can't. Good thing she told you to pull over. I can't even imagine.
I remember exactly where I was still. Yeah.
Wow.
But So to get pregnant, it actually was really easy for me. I just had to get on a temporary drug called bromocriptine, and it temporarily shrunk the tumor in my brain, and we were able to achieve pregnancy naturally.
Wow.
Which isn't the case normally. Normally it's, IVF or IUI or whatever. So we really got lucky. And, we went through all of it. The sperm testing, oh man, it's so much stress and, it's crazy.
Wow.
But she definitely, Cora is so strong and definitely, is meant to be here for sure.
And that's, man, that's what you learn through getting pregnant, the whole process. Like,
yeah,
the probability of you actually being here is every child is like, you are a miracle that you are here. Like every child. It's amazing.
It really is.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Well, everybody, for real, if you, as she said, if you have questions, I've never heard of that. Wow. But you find out as you go on and you hear different people's stories, which is why I have Momversations, to hear just different stories of how people become moms. I mean, there's so many things involved. I can ask you about the whole labor story,
right?
Labor story, even.
Yeah. And you know what? People's stories are so important.
Yeah.
If you really found out what makes someone tick and just listened, just like be quiet, be still, don't speak a lot. And if you just listen to the beauty of someone's story, it's mutually beneficial and everyone needs to be heard.
Yeah.
And there's so much just chatter and social media and, you're coming in for your cameo. This is Cora, the miracle.
This is Cora. I'm surprised.
Yes, darling.
Hello, Cora.
Where's Andrea's stuff? I don't know. I don't know where it is.
You put it somewhere.
I don't know, and I'll do it after this. Okay? Sorry, babe. So sorry. So you said, what is what's my why? I don't know. What's my why? It's just to learn about, I need to just learn how to be a better mom and how to, I don't know. I think it's every time I look at the solar system, it's like there's those, you are here. And it's like this pointing arrow to Earth. And I love stuff like that because it's like, you know what? I'm not important.
Wow.
I'm not. So I don't really know why I'm here. I'm just kind of enjoying my time here. And I'm very lucky to live, in California. It's so gorgeous here.
Yeah.
And I'm just blessed and happy to live life with, my amazing friends and my husband and my family. It's just, I guess that's my purpose, is just to love people and support other people by listening to them.
That's good enough. That is good right there. Can you you've talked a little bit about the kind of person that you are that stands up and speaks up. How has been the process of finding you and finding that voice? How was the process of finding it, and how do you maintain it, especially in our industry and even the many hats that you wear that are most times male dominated? How do you maintain it?
Yeah, well, I found it. So being from Chicago, we're known to have a good work ethic, but not everyone, I'm sure, from Chicago has a good work ethic. But my mom had a store, a clothing and shoe store named after the two of us, Charisma, my mom. And it was comfortable clothing, and then shoes like Doc Martens and Birkenstocks and Dansko, like, comfortable, expensive stuff and beautiful things. And she opened that store when I was 10, and I started working at her store at Charisma, at our store, from 10 years old. And I worked there all the way up until college. And I, balanced the cash register, and I just learned how to work hard at a really early age.
Wow.
And so that's how I found my voice. I was put in situations that, older kids normally would have been put in at an earlier age. And it allowed me to sharpen my tools of being an entrepreneur, speak up for myself, and, and then maintaining it in a male-dominated industry. When I first started back in probably 2007, I started kind of chasing session singing. I took advantage of being a female. I went to so many mixers and as many things I could find that were, an event sponsored by a speaker company or, Avid, like Pro Tools stuff. And I was given more attention because I was a female. Wow. And I was there.
Nice.
So I just kind of, I don't know, I guess from an early age, just kind of learned how to play my cards right and show up to places where I knew I'd get a little more attention or something. I'm not sure. And I would often go with another female too, and I'm a hit the ground running type of person. So if you give me a task, like I will do it immediately. I'm more of a procrastinator the older I get, but it's because I don't have the control of my schedule that I used to have. Now it just is like, okay, I am, Cora is definitely first. Right. I'm like maybe fifth. Right. My dog is number 2, and then Dana. So yeah, maintaining it. I just, I do work with a lot of men, don't I? I think I grew up with a brother, and I'm just like, I'm good with talking to guys. It's not hard for me. And probably having my brother was a big part of that, but like for my friends that are females, and I would have loved to have had a sister, but didn't have one. And so now my friends, I'm like, I just call them all my sisters, Yes. So it's fun. So yeah, maintaining it. I just try to involve myself on as many committees as I can to learn about things I don't know about, whether it's mom stuff or, union singer union stuff, to rub shoulders with as many people that you want to be like as possible. Cool. Most of which are men, but more and more women. I mean, we're coming up.
We're coming up.
Watch out.
Yes, we are. Watch out. That's right. Well, what does that look like with so many? I mean, we've already talked about the many hats that you wear, and even with in this industry, what does self-care look like for you?
That's probably my worst. Before coronavirus, I was good about getting a massage every month. And I'm also I'm really good at like not spending a lot of money. So I go to the massage place. It's $47 for an hour. It's awesome, and that was what kind of kept me going. Like every 4 to 6 weeks, get a massage.
Nice.
And then, keep your hair done. And I'm too cheap to get my nails done, so I do that myself. But self-care, I definitely need. If I'm left to my own devices, I will just burn the candle down so far, and then I get mad and rude and mean.
Yes.
It's just, I don't know. I need help with that. Definitely. I'm not good at self-care.
All right. I'm actually talking to I think in 2 weeks, I'm having a self-care wellness person.
Ooh,
come
I'll
on.
have to listen.
Yes. So she's going to give us some tips and tags so we can learn from her story. So listen in. I'll let you know.
Okay, good. Yes.
I get it though. I mean, even if we were good at self-care before having children is so hard to maintain. It just is, because they come out the womb needing everything. Totally dependent on you. And I don't know if it ends. I mean, you're farther along in the journey than me, but
it does get easier, but there's still so much dependency that is amazing. You know, even as you just saw, it's like her and Dana don't know where something is. I know where everything is. They don't know where something is. And I'm just like, just leave me alone. Like often I just like lock myself in a room, or I will put music on in my headphones.
Yes.
So loud that I purposely cannot hear anyone else because I don't want to hear them.
Right.
And that's been like coronavirus stuff, just like quarantine. And I'm just like, leave me alone. I can't stand you.
Yes. And that's good. Do you have what are your other tips? What are you doing in this time? How are you handling this environment where we are dealing with the quarantine, dealing with racial unrest? What does that look like in your mothering? What does that look like in self-care? I mean, now we're in a whole nother situation. And what that looks like.
Yeah, man. We are quarantining with our neighbors in the back. So I'd say developing a pod of a very small group of people that you trust, because I often compare this, a lot of people are comparing the coronavirus to like, you know, all right, you got to tell who your sexual partners are. It's like, you know, when you first start a relationship, it's like, okay, I've had sex with this many people. And it's kind of like a tell-all, you know. So with this quarantining or making a pod, you have to tell people like, okay, yeah, I went to the dentist. Or if you open up your web, you know, you got to tell everybody about it.
Wow, that's a for real like pod. Like everybody's honest about where they've been.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
It's going really, really well. And then I'm considering like opening up the pod a little bit, you know, because everyone is losing their minds. You are not alone.
Yes. You
are not alone. Suicide is at the highest rate it's ever been right now.
Yeah.
So, you know, be careful with yourself. You know, if you've gained weight like me, just let it go. Let it go. It's okay. It is the strangest time.
Yeah.
Be patient with yourself. You know, do something that you like. Give lots of hugs, right? Little snookums. And I thank you. They just made me popcorn.
Oh, I love it.
You guys are the best. Thank you.
I love it.
And then, you know, yesterday I FaceTimed with my good friend Amanda and my good friend and neighbor Amanda. We talked for an hour and 10 minutes, and just to keep the friendships going and to feel normal. And it's good. Yeah. Pick up the phone, call, text, something, you know, or have cocktail hour in your backyard, like 10 feet apart. Yeah. You know, because when you're drinking or eating, your mask is off. So, you know, but just, we've got to keep our masks on. We really do. Yeah. It's really bad in LA. So.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I thought somebody asked a question. Great tips. More tips. I ask people, you started at the top of the conversation talking about your basically your faith, your family, your faith. How does your faith inform your journey of motherhood and purpose?
Well, I did read this cool thing that said the purpose of becoming a mother is to get closer to God. And I was like, wow, that was kind of mind blowing that God made me a mother so that I would have to lean on him.
Yes.
You know, I definitely think that's a true statement. And I mean, my faith has been huge. It's, I definitely wouldn't be who I am now without my amazing, you know, journey of faith. And that has been very rocky and not easy, confusing, mysterious. And, but again, just, you know, having the support of friends and family and session singers, and, you know, we're all just like, there's no work. We're all scared. But we really are all in it together.
Yeah.
Nobody's working. Anyone that you think is working isn't working as much as they are. Right. As you think they are. That's what I meant to say. Right. So, yeah.
We're coming down to the last few of our questions. How have you dealt with failure along your journey? What's one thing you would say to yourself as a mother in this stage of your journey to encourage yourself?
Oh man.
Maybe that's
yeah. There is so much failure as a mom and in my work.
Yeah.
Oh, the rejection is like, it's so many more no's in the music business than yeses.
Yeah.
So for that, it's just about thickening your skin.
Yeah.
And that's just through experience. And it still breaks my heart when I don't get something. But I definitely have learned through the years to not attach myself, even if I've signed a contract for something. Don't attach yourself until you hear it on the radio, see it on TV, or on a film screen. Because it's still, even after signing contracts, it's still unlikely that it'll air.
Right. Right.
I mean, remember the Real O'Neills?
Right.
They did like one season and then it got canceled because Catholics didn't agree with it.
It was canceled?
Because the lead character was gay.
Wow.
It got canceled due to religious matters.
Wow. I mean, that's dang. Wow. So yeah.
I hope all of that will change.
Yeah. Right. Who knows what it's gonna look like when we get out of all of this?
Yeah.
I mean, it'll be a whole nother world. It'll just have to look different.
Yeah.
It'll just have to look different.
Yeah.
One of my last questions: what is the greatest lesson you are learning in this season?
I had something earlier. I forgot. The greatest lesson this season. I guess. I mean, frivolously, it would be just to let go of having a clean house.
Yeah. Ain't that the truth?
But not frivolously, and more like mental health focus would probably be just patience with myself. And, you know, because I honestly, when I see people posting about like, oh, it's quarantine, this is like your time to really focus on what you want. It's like, you know what? I need a little bit of time to gripe about all of this. Yeah. Everyone does. I get tired of like all the positive stuff. I think it's really important to honor your feelings. If you bottle them up and bottle them up and bottle them up and never honor how crappy it is right now.
Yeah. Good.
Like, just honor it. Be okay.
Yeah.
You know, the biggest, like working with the addicts, like, so addiction is a cycle and it's a circle. I mean, it's a circle, and, you know, they're focused on the high. And it's all they do is all day long just think about how they're going to achieve the high, how they're going to get the drug, how they're going to get the booze, whatever. And it just keeps going, but they think it's going to change, but it never does. So I I just lost my train of thought, but just knowing that, oh yes, I just got it again. Yay. They're numbing their feelings. Don't numb your feelings. Honor them.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Have a poor me couple days of it.
Yeah.
You know, just allow it to happen. It's okay. You do not need to be perfect. You do not need to come out of quarantine better. You can come out of quarantine worse. It's okay. It's just,
it's
you know,
okay.
It's okay. And I'm preaching to the choir here because it's, you know, I am hard on myself, but I have had to learn in this season to just be more gentle and harmful with myself, and to not numb away the pain, but to honor the pain and journal it out.
Yeah.
You know, write a song about it, write some lyrics about it, something, some healthier way, you know. I'm not saying drown yourself in wine and drown yourself in whatever. I mean, you can do a little, you know, a little bit of that, but just to honor that this has never happened in all of our lifetimes,
right?
And that it sucks. And humans are not built for social isolation.
No,
we are built. God made us to connect, and we aren't able to do that right now. Hence, anxiety and depression are on the rise. So suicide. Wow. So it's just a time to listen to others and be there for your friends, and, you know, and especially the elderly. They're even more isolated than they were before. Right. You know, it's really, it's a really sad, lonely time. And I have a huge place in my heart for loneliness. So just from the experiences I've seen in my therapy work, and, you know, hearing all the addicts talk about their own lives and their stories is just, you would not believe the stuff I've heard, and the sadness and things the trauma that they've experienced, you know. So be grateful for what you have, but also it's okay to feel bad about, you know, stuff. And yeah, so that's kind of it. I mean, I don't know. This is really cool to talk about some stuff, and yeah, with you. And I just love you, and you're my voice teacher, you're my friend, you're in Elevate Gospel Choir with us. And Imani is amazing, and, you know, I hope you guys are doing great, and yeah, call anytime. I'm always ready to talk.
I got two very quick, just right at the top of your head questions.
Yeah.
If you met Cora later in life, say she's your somewhere, wherever, 30s, 40s, what would you want her to know about you and your journey?
Me and my journey?
Yes. What would you want her to know about you? Or just you? It could just be, what would you want her to know about you?
Yeah. I'm trying to think fast, but it's not happening fast. I don't know. Probably just how much I think about her, and how I don't. There really isn't even a moment that goes by where she's not on my heart, and how much I care for her and want the best for her. And, you know, I mean, that cliche statement of like unconditional love as a parent, like it really is defined when you become a parent, of just how, even when they tell you your teeth are yellow and whatever, like, you still love them so much. And it's weird. Or you just like, I want to strangle her. But yeah, I think just how much I think about her.
I love it.
Yeah.
And our final question of the night, who, Charissa Nielsen, are you becoming?
I think I'm becoming, I had a life reading by a psychic.
Okay.
And I asked her a lot of questions about my future. And she told me that she sensed that my vocal contracting is going to explode in a good way.
All right.
So that, and I would love that. And I asked her, I'm like, but what about my music therapy? And she goes, nope, not right now. You're putting off an energy of vocal contracting. And she said, it's films. She goes, I'm seeing scores and multiple tracks. She's never met me.
Wow.
She knew I was a singer. She knew we're building a studio in our backyard. She knew my daughter is struggling with reading. I mean, her name's Medium Fleur. She's amazing.
Wow. Wow.
Amazing. And believe me, I'm from Chicago. We do not believe in stuff like this. So I think I'm a little scared of it, but I think vocal contracting is going to be my biggest thing.
All right.
You know, just capitalizing on that. So I don't know.
Hey, all right. Well, you heard it here. We'll see where Charissa is headed. The many, many hats that Charissa wears of mother, of music therapist, of vocal contractor, of singer, of mom, of friend, of so many things. We thank you for your heart and really this empathy. You just exude this woman who empathizes and just finds a way to put yourself in other people's shoes and listen. I mean, even if we take a word away, like you seem to be a listener to humanity. So we thank you for that, and thank you for me, from me, for standing up for me and teaching me how to stand up for myself as a new mom. So, man, I mean, you said some good nuggets in this time that we've had. So I don't know if people have questions, but I know we'll have people who are just really learning and listening and gathering, especially with how to deal with this time. So thank you for sharing your voice and your little tidbits and your story. It's so fascinating to hear your story.
Thank you. Thank you for doing it. It's so special to be with you. And you have such an energy that I just love, like this just bombastic, beautiful energy. I love it.
Oh, thank you. Well, everybody, thank you for tuning in tonight to Momversation. Again, this is Charissa Nielsen. You've seen Cora. You didn't get to see Dana, who popped in earlier, but the Nielsen family. But contact her if you have questions. She's already said if you have questions about the infertility issue, or I'm throwing you out there now.
That's fine. Yeah, totally. Anything.
Other questions? Charissa is my friend, so you can find her on here, or she's tagged in here. So feel free to ask her some questions. But thank you again for your time, Charissa. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And we'll see you next week on Momversations. Woo! I need a theme song. This is when I put. I need a theme song. Somebody help me write a theme song.
Yeah. Yes. We could do that. Maybe we should.
Oh, your mom said this was wonderful. Thank you.
Oh, good.
Thanks for tuning in.
Love you, Mom. All right. Thanks, Aretha.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.